The current situation is that the port is, as in every other industrial city, somehow cut from the urban matrix of the city. The port is on Danube, which is very important, corridor 7, European corridor, and somehow it is one of the reasons why the urban part of the city is not close enough to the river, because the city itself became such an important city also because of the port on Danube. Since that was very productive part of the city, and it seems that city was gaining money from that activity, it was much more linked to railway and to roads, which are not very welcome anymore in the city center. So after 40 or 50 years from the construction of the port, although it's nice and it's well maintained and it brought a lot of money to the city and contributed to city development, nowadays the trends are different. Like postmodern cities are getting rid of such kind of facilities from the city centers, and that is the aim of the city, that are the trends. On the other hand, Serbia was for about 20 years cut off Danube mainstream, which means that we didn't, during the period of 90s, we actually didn't trade a lot through Danube. So either tourism or trade was cut, and the city did not gain a lot of money from these two activities, and therefore even that part that could previously bring more activities, even trucks or ships, nowadays it's working with I think between 10 and 30% of its capacity, and the whole area is not really abandoned, but it's not used 100%. So therefore the city, as well as the owner of the port, is thinking about some kind of transformation of that area. The third issue would be that there was no law in Serbia related to operations and ownerships of the ports, which is nowadays under preparation. And we are actually waiting for that law to maybe unclear some dilemmas about, is that of importance for the city, is that of importance of the state government, and how is going to be related to privately owned port. So let's say that we are all thinking in a potential way, not only about the plan would be, of course, to get the port with huger capacity, but not in the city center. But how we are going to do that and which is going to be the path, we have to think about that very carefully. This was very tricky demand from the side of the private owner of the port, and it was issued from the Town Planning Institute through General Plan of Belgrade. After the year 2003, when the new General Plan was adopted in the city assembly, there was a, let's say, 6-year period of rethinking of all possible changes within the city, and that port area was a topic for various public architectural design competitions, then all kind of talks, professional talks, because this is a huge area. It covers the port itself, it's something about 100 hectares on the Danube, but the whole area is 460 hectares, which is huge area for reconstruction. Even World Bank was interested in that project. So the master plan, the general plan of Belgrade, was adopted last year in December, And as a finalization of all kinds of analyses and talks and discussions on political, also as professional, we proposed something which is long-term vision and short-term activities. Long-term vision would be that Belgrade should transform the port and storages area close to the river Danube. That is, of course, something which happened already elsewhere. The short-term activity proposed was to create a master plan, to discuss it with all the Republic, city authorities and the public, general public, to propose the way of transformation, and to discuss the proposal that was given to the city by the private owner. That was a very nice step from the private owners to engage world-known architects and architectural bureaus to give a master plan about the vision from the point of view of the private developer of that part of the city. So we actually have, as a city, we were donated one master plan done by the Libeskind studio from New York and Young Yale studio from Copenhagen, which is interesting combination of two totally different points of views. And it was presented even in the university and presented in media. And I think that vision was rather decent from the professional point of view, because combination of, let's say, contemporary approach with iconic buildings together with something which is respect for the public space, mixed uses, recreational spaces, and the riverbank, which is more accessible than today, was, let's say, professionally correct. And nowadays the city of Belgrade started the work on the plan of detailed regulation of that zone. So we are taking that vision as one potential result or one proposal to be discussed and analyzed through all the procedures. We are going to discuss the possibility about putting skyscrapers in that zone. Is that the right way or not? Densities which are, let's say, higher than the central city area, etc., etc., etc. So there are and I think that master plans should be brave and should give us the visions, and then all the professionals and the public should discuss proposals. So hopefully we are going to get something closer to Belgrade identity, maybe less dense, maybe, but the principles would be as they were proposed in that master plan, to have for sure mixed uses without any railroads and trucks in that area, with a lot of public space, with of course contemporary architecture, and let's say that the issue about high rises is under discussion everywhere, so they are in city of Belgrade as well. So hopefully we are going to have some kind of a plan which is going to be adopted after we solve the problem about how large should be the area for the current position of the port, which has to be there until we find another location, and which part of the site should be converted to different contemporary urban land uses. Well, I think the main difference between cities are the strategies about the port. So usually London, Genoa, Antwerpen, Barcelona, all of these cities first had a vision what is going to happen with the port. And this is the main issue that we are dealing with here. Instead of dealing only with the design, we first have to deal with who is going to finance the port, who is going to operate the port, what is going to be the benefit from this port or from other port, what are the pros and contras for the city authority. Like we have to put some numbers, we have to make a decision what is going to be the way of development of city of Belgrade. So that's the thing that the small urban planning institute cannot give an answer to that question. So we have to ask a lot of authorities, including state authorities and city authorities. And of course, at the end of the day, we have to deal with that when we put it into design, into physical shape, to deal with general public as well. But comparing to other city cases, we have a lot of work to do, and maybe this crisis is good because we have time to deal with that kind of issues. And hopefully we are going, it's one of the sustainable ways to keep a part of the port where it is, as for example Antwerp did, and to try to find a larger area for the new port as a new efficient and profitable activity. So that would be I think the solution for that area. Well, it's very, very hard to divide those two personalities. In my own personality, because when you're a citizen, you don't have a burden of knowledge about the processes within the city. You only think about the beauty. I like it or I don't like it, and I can only make assumptions about what citizens are thinking about that. Well, without any opposition, we had support to try to find a way to bring the city to the river. That's it's not under discussion at all. What is going to be the way to bring the city to the riverbank, especially when it's Danube, it's not like small river, cute, etc. This is the process that takes time, money, and knowledge, and this is the complicated thing that I have to evaluate as a professional. And therefore, as a citizen and as a professional, I would love to see the transformation, but I would love to see it to be like with brains, to be efficient, to be with a lot of calculations, to involve private and public sector as well, and to have all the parties satisfied, like state, city. Well, you know, you have to be an optimist when you're working in a job like mine. But more or less to make all the parties satisfied with the solution, and then to put more efforts in design, because to have a city as Belgrade in two rivers with like 300 kilometers of riverbanks and not to use these riverbanks, this is not very intelligent. So that would be my citizen point of view.